that. I still feel like
Hello.
it's so close.
Why is our like tags not there?
Oh, I probably messed it up.
You're fine.
Hold on. I can add it. Just maybe.
I feel like we need to be better about taking a minute when we start anyways. We were saying that. So this is the minute.
Give me a second.
Welcome to In the Box Office, episode number 9. Can you believe it's been 9 weeks?
9 weeks
Actually,
is wild.
That's crazy. When
9
I say
weeks
it out
is
loud, it is
wild.
long.
Let's see here if this works. Nothing's happening. Okay.
Well, if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, my handle is @ibx.pt. Kate?
Kate Lauren's 15.
Because they're not up there today. Very sad.
I was trying to be fancy earlier and switch some things up, and now I can't get it back. So
It's okay. Hello,
I'm not a
hello.
tech person, guys. I'm just winging it here.
We're doing our best.
Hi, Jeff. Howdy.
Oh, PC.
Okay.
What up, losers?
Get out. You can't steal my line, Patrick. That's mine.
Lock in, losers. Actually, the CrossFit Games are over, so.
I went into the, my mom.
I love it. I literally was like, Lawrence, I see it.
Hi, Mom.
You went into what?
I went into Brian and PC's live yesterday.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I say. What's up, losers? Try to be more.
I mean, imitation is flattery, right? So
not everybody can be as funny as me.
Unfortunately.
Love that.
Or
how's it going this week? Good?
Yeah, it's been
Are we killing it?
That's great.
Pool Boy says, "Oh, your mom is here. I got to be nice." She's always here, guys. Actually, let me talk about that. Hopefully she doesn't care that I'm going to talk about her on here. I've done local competitions like a lot in the last 10 years, and my parents have gone to the majority of them.
I love that.
And they have never watched professional or elite CrossFit, really. And my mom watched the entire games this year. And she gets on every single podcast that we do. She was on Brian and PC's podcast yesterday too. And she watched the games. And I'm so proud of her. My dad watched too, but I don't think he hung in there as long. But I think that's so cool because my mom could not care less about sports. She likes football now. But I think it's taken me 12 years to get her there, but I think that was really cool. Now she knows. I'm like, could you tell me what Jason Hopper looks like? And she's like, yep. Like, could
look at her?
What Tia Toomey looks like? She's like, yep. So we're
kind of cool too because she sees you do it and then she can kind of relate it, you know?
Yeah.
I got to pull this up. That is actually a disposal system, for my needles for dry needling because I'm a physical therapist. So that's where I dump my needles that I stick in people. So no, it's not a candle at all.
We can pretend.
This is my treatment room.
We can pretend it's a candle. We're getting there. Okay. That's weird. Vindicate's here. Hello. So this week, this is the last episode that we were supposed to have. God, was that just last week? I think that was just last week.
Yeah, we've just done like some recaps in between, so it feels like longer, but
this is what we were supposed to talk about last week, and then I text Mesa last minute frantically saying that we needed to switch topics and then leave it for today. And I feel like I'm glad that we waited because
we have way more to say now.
Way more to say. And I think it would have been a little premature to talk about it the week before it happened. So
I'm gonna pause this. So at the end of today's show, we're going to have me give Kate a workout. Actually, we should at the beginning and let people comment what they want, right? Because I have options. Should we do that now?
Yeah. If Grant is also here, I will also. Me and Grant just have to compromise on a workout, and he's not.
That's what I was saying. So, like, she's gonna do. I won the predictions. If you didn't know, by 1 point, I think.
No, you won by a lot.
Oh, well, we both did bad, but I did less bad. But this means Kate has to do a workout of my choosing. Grant, if you want to get in on the live, are you going to do it live? That was the plan.
I don't know.
I think it'd be cool if he wants to get in and do it head to head, because I'm just going to put this out there. I don't think there's any workout that Grant's beating you.
No, he wanted to do like 20 shuttle runs, 40 box jump overs, and 20 shuttle runs. Everything that I guess he's good at. I don't really know. I know he loves burpee box jump overs.
I still think you'd beat him.
No, absolutely not.
What?
Like,
I thought you'd win no matter what.
No. That's why I propose heavy power cleans and burpee box jump overs.
Okay, we have options. Hold on. I'm going to pull them up to make sure that I don't mess it up. 1 second, because I know I wrote them earlier. Okay. 2 options. The first one is biking DT. So 5 rounds DT, which is 12 deadlifts, 9 hang power cleans, 6 jerks, and then 9 cal echo or assault bike. Do you have echoes at your gym?
Just assault bikes.
Okay, assault then. That is option 1, biking DT. So I made it something you're actually good at, but then added a little bit. People are going to pay for you to work out. Wow. Okay. Option number 2, AMRAP 5, clean and jerks at 135, which would be like, 195, 205, something like that for men. 125 is 185, so maybe like 195, 200. Just clean and jerks, AMRAP 5. I think they'd both be fun to watch. That's how I made them. I think that I also have my money on Kate, even if it was shuttle runs. You need to have a little more self-belief, damn.
Dude, when I tell you that I have not...
205 for guys. I didn't make the equivalents because this was just supposed to be for Kate, but you may...
I haven't done a conditioning workout in well over a month. And before that, it was still pretty iffy. So if this would have been 6 months ago, I would have been all for it. But no.
Okay. So in the comments, do you want the option 1, which is biking DT, or option 2, which is AMRAP 5 clean and jerks? Comment throughout, and then at the end, I'll decide what I think I saw more of. Maybe I'll start it my video.
We don't have any rules. We'll just pick whatever we want.
We make the rules. But yes, although this is not HillerFit programming, this is Mesa Hanawi programming. Thank you very much. I wrote these workouts because I thought I'm just like, what's something you're decent at with a little bit of a twist that will be fun for the people to watch. See, I'm not mean. I could have been like 30 muscle ups for time or some shit, and I didn't do that.
Yeah, I would have cried.
All right. Option 2, but make it squat, clean, and jerks. No, it's whatever clean you want, because I want to see how long you hold on to a power and when it goes to a squat.
Oh, I'll never squat it. 135, I'll never squat it. Not at all. I won't. I won't.
Oh my God, y'all. Mesa Hanawi programming. Mesa Hanawi. I program for a living. All right. CrossFit Games.
Overall, hot or not, what's your take?
I'll give it hot. I have a lot of more like smaller takes, but overall, I will give it hot. Not like a hot, but like a hot.
Not like hot.
Yeah. It might be like ugly hot. Like ugly, but had some redeeming qualities hot. I don't know. We'll discuss. Hot. What did you take?
Yeah, no. Okay, if we're using the ugly hot scale, ugly hot, I think would be the appropriate option.
Okay. Someone asked if we could define these terms. So basically hot, self-explanatory. It's great. Ugly hot is like, it's ugly, but then you have some redeeming qualities that make it hot. And hot ugly is it's hot, but you have some bad qualities that pull it a little into ugly. And then ugly, it just sucks. Is that fine? Is that a decent explanation?
Yeah. Did that make sense? No. Okay, Jeffrey's confused. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk about
the CrossFit Games.
But if we're gonna talk about, we're just gonna say a person, but the person is gonna be CrossFit. Okay, they are really attractive Hot, ugly. They're really attractive. But then when you like look at them a little bit, they have like a few things that might not be that hot. It could be their personality.
We said ugly hot.
Yes. Okay, everybody says crystal clear. Whatever. I also agree. We were not there. Vindicate asked if we were there. Neither of us were there, but we watched all weekend on the live stream. Somebody would have wanted to take me. I would have gone. It was not a boycott. It was just resources. I definitely think it was hot. And I think this year, a lot of the people that were on the fence and just really unsure of where they stood, I think this was like, we'll say a test year, if you will. And I think they probably won a lot of people over this year. But I think the bar was pretty low. Like as long as something like tragic and crazy didn't happen, I feel like it was going to be a win for them regardless. They just like really didn't have to like mess it up.
I agree. And I don't think they did. I think it was overall a smooth, successful weekend.
Yes.
I don't say that with like very exciting, like I thought it was the most incredible thing ever.
And like, I guess we can kind of get into that too, is there was, at first I was like, it was great. And I do think it was good, but there's also, I didn't leave being like, hell yeah. Like everybody keeps saying we're so back. And I think it's like definitely a step in the right direction, but people keep comparing it to semifinals. And I think I kind of agree. Like it was cool and it had my attention, but it wasn't as magical as it has been. I think maybe is the best way to describe it.
And I think that maybe like no matter what it was, it wouldn't have been that way because we're a little jaded. I don't know, like I don't have specific answers. I know people always want examples and specific answers. I can give you examples of some things. We'll get into it, but I don't think there's like a recipe that would have made it magical. I think there's a few aspects to it. Viewership, or like in-person spectators.
Mm-hmm.
I was told by many people it was very empty.
There's such mixed reviews on that though, because like we know people that were there and they're like, it's empty. They're there all weekend. They're like, the seats are empty. But then I've also heard people saying that it didn't feel empty, but kind of looked, I don't know. I'm confused. But if you look at the pictures in the live stream, there are not people in the seats.
Yeah, and I had a friend that was there that said it was pretty empty. So, I mean, that's my information. I think that matters. I think we kind of knew that based on how many sales there were on tickets. Correct. And different things. Is that the end all be all? No. Do I think it matters to have a full stadium? Yes. And then exact to what this states. So the second part of that is online viewership, right? Because like tickets may not, again, it's different coast. It might be different. Like we might have had more West Coast people going there. Who knows, right? Reasons. I also think obviously what's going on with CrossFit. But viewership, I have heard the same. I've not looked up the numbers yet, but I've heard online viewership was good. I think a lot of people wanted to watch it and see what happened, no matter where you stood, right? I think that it's sad. Like we talk a lot about some of the semifinals were super empty. Some of those, and like I know that a lot of the European athletes are like, wait till you see a competition in Europe. The crowds are crazy. And I think that for the games, it should be like that. So that is a little bit disappointing. But I'm glad online viewership was up.
I think maybe it was, this being a test year. I'll keep saying that, I guess, referring to it as the test year. But then also Albany, I listened to the Spin podcast yesterday, and I think it was last night. Yeah, last night. And they did not have good things to say about the area. And so maybe the location too, like who really wants to go there. But we said the same thing about Madison. And like, I'm from the Midwest. And I remember when they announced Madison, I was like, I don't want to go to Madison. And then I went 3 years and it was amazing. So I think I was hopeful that maybe we would change our tune by then, but it sounds like Albany was not it. But I also hear that is probably not the location for next year either. So.
Yeah. I do think that from like a flight perspective, it's probably an easy place to get to.
I heard no. I heard
Oh,
you have to fly into like Boston or something, just like
oh,
Madison. You'd have
I'm
to fly
wrong.
into Wisconsin or into Chicago and then drive to Wisconsin. I think I heard Lauren say that maybe. I can't remember, but I did hear it also wasn't super great
Okay,
getting
never
to.
mind. I lied.
You would think it being in New York, maybe it would be easy, but I have heard otherwise.
I think the next aspect of what's like hot or not, or what made it yes or no magical is the programming, right? And I have a lot to say about the programming. As
Let's
someone
hear
who
it.
actually programs for a living, I feel like people are confused by this. I literally do individualized programming as my main job. I think I would give the programming like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. How,
You tell me what you think.
I think it was good. Like it was classic CrossFit. I do kind of miss like the odd object kind of stuff. Like we didn't have really like we had the yoke, but
Hmm.
no strongman type event, no pigs, none of that. And I love that stuff because you don't have a lot of exposure to it during training, if at all. And
Isn't this
sometimes
the like first year in a very long time that they haven't had like a new object for just the games?
probably, I
'Cause isn't
mean,
that always a thing?
I'm sure somebody can tell us in the chat, but um I I did miss that part of it for sure. But overall, like I think the events were good. They were fun to watch, like good races, but also is that because the programming was fine, but like also the leaderboard was super tight this year for all
Yeah,
fields. So it was going to be exciting to watch no matter what the programming was,
for
but I think
sure.
with classic CrossFit and I did hear, I think PC actually said this, that there was no injuries at all during the games between the teams and the individuals. So I think that's
That's
like
cool.
a tip in the hat. Is that what it for the
Yeah.
programming as well?
Yeah, and I do think that like I like the return to some classic CrossFit. Sometimes I do think competitions in general are over programmed. I think maybe the reason it felt um like it was a semifinal is because the majority of it was indoors.
Mhm.
There wasn't like the element or like a field maybe or
Yep.
something, but also I get it. Like we said, it's a test year. They had to be safer all around. They had to have more boundaries. I think potentially they did the best they could with what they had to do,
Yeah.
maybe. I think there was a lot of tight races. I loved seeing let's wait to get into the whole Tia being dominant thing. So programming wise, I actually thought it was interesting that a lot of people thought the snatch shuttle run workout was going to be so boring because I think that was one of the more interesting workouts. Like a lot of people were like, that was a dumb programmed workout. And I thought it was really fun. I am very, very disappointed that they did 3 attempts for the back squat. That to me was like, how do you program a power lift and then I mean, I guess in powerlifting you have 3 attempts, but in a CrossFit setting, like you're never going to that's not how CrossFitters train. You're never going to get heavy, heavy lifts like that. You're going to have either people be too conservative or Hail Mary. And everyone, all the athletes was like, I really hope it's not 3 attempts. I really hope it's not 3 attempts. Teams had a time and as many attempts as they wanted. I was upset with that.
I think,
Oh, welcome to the party.
we'll circle back. You got to stay to find out. Um, the back squat, I think, was anticlimactic. Climactic. How do you say? I don't know. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. Not super exciting. Obviously, Colton was exciting, but aside from that, I feel like everybody, it was just like, it was okay. Um, the snatch event I thought was going to be, it was a sprint. I was excited when I saw it. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And again, I was just like, it was fine. It was a fine race. And that's kind of how I felt about all of them. They were all
Mhm.
fine. They were fun to watch, but nothing. I guess maybe Jason Hopper in that snatch event when he like about fell
Fails
over like
so
3
many reps.
times. But aside from that, the last men's event was exciting because we really like didn't know what was going to happen. But I think it's just because the field of athletes was so strong and that's what made it exciting. I don't know. I'm just like going back and forth about it. It was okay. But
Yeah,
like not in a bad way. Like it was just fine.
that's kind of how I feel too. And I think that's fine for this year too, because we needed it to go fine. I think.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of people are commenting on the squat. I personally think that when you have more attempts in a CrossFit setting, you're going to see bigger numbers because CrossFitters do not train to do lifting in the style of powerlifting, right? Like they don't train to do one lift, rest of not a lot of, but rest. Now they're doing EMOM, stuff like that. So typically their maxes are more under fatigue. I guess we can get into the TIA thing. So I don't have the stats on this, but I saw today someone posted that she won like 4 of the 10 events, which I feel like is less than she typically, like I feel like she usually wins more than half while she still beat everyone by like a crazy amount of points. It felt just from like a viewership that she wasn't like so far ahead every single event. Like there was actually some close races, which surprised me. And I thought that was cool. I think it's because like the event she didn't win, the 6th event she didn't win, she still did pretty well in and was close to the people behind her that her points were so high. But I feel like typically she wins over half the events. So I thought it was cool that we had, a little more races. There were like, I think DB gave her kind of a run for it. Lucy gave her a run for it. Olivia beat her in some events. I thought that was really cool to see just a little more variety there. It was more, even though it was a dominant performance, there was a lot better races than I expected on the women's side.
Yeah, I think if we are rating the field of athletes were hot this year. It was the most exciting. And I think we said this on our recap show. I heard one of the announcers say that this was the closest that the men's field has, I think, ever been in the history of the games. And you felt it. Like I was standing in front of my TV, like this far away watching the last men's heat because it was so close. I think that was the most exciting or the most excited that I have been watching the games in a long time because, we had Frazier for a really long time and he would always run away with it. Tia's been in the field forever, so she always runs away with it. And even like you said with her, there were some really close races with her. So I think overall the field was great.
Yeah, it was exciting the whole weekend. And besides Tia, it wasn't just a race for second. It was like a race for second, third, fourth, fifth. Yep. Like it was really shuffling every event.
Did you see at all the spin posted about the P scoring? Have you seen any of that by chance?
About the what? Yes.
Like if it was.
Yes. I think it's okay. Go ahead. Tell me your opinion first.
I just think it's interesting how using a different scoring system could have such a different outcome, except the women's field wouldn't have changed at all, except like DB and somebody would have flipped like 5th and 6th. But for the men's field, it would have changed the entire men's field, which is crazy.
Is there any other sport that scored that way? Like where?
I don't know. I know nothing about sports.
I think the way they score it, accumulative points makes sense. Like this P score thing, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. That's not the system they use. It's never been the system they use. It's never going to be the system they use.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I don't know. I think it's like so annoying that they're like, well, if you used a different scoring system, Jason wouldn't win. He did. He won on the scoring system that we knew existed. Like, get over
For sure. It. I just think it's like more of a food for thought. I'm not saying that Jason didn't win at all. Obviously he did because that's the scoring system that they use. I just think like it is an interesting conversation to talk about if you win by such a large margin, like should you get rewarded for that or not? And I think it's something Crash uses that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's because the crew of people who love the P score are all tight with JR. Like that's, I
don't think it's bad necessarily. I have only signed up for the open one time.
We've been through this. We're not talking about
Do your homework.
My goodness.
I just think it's like an interesting thing to talk about because it would change it dramatically. I don't know if there's a right answer, but obviously this is all we use now because that's what we do. But I did find it interesting. No, Mesa's a hater on the P scoring.
Yeah, I think it's so stupid.
Let him know.
Like, I think like a win is a win and a lose is a lose. Like if you win a track event by 0.00001 seconds, you still are the freaking champion. It doesn't matter how much you won by. That's
true.
Like,
That's
and
true. I don't know. There can be both. There can be room for both, just like there's room for CrossFit and WFP. You heard it here. Heard it here first. I want to pull this up. Do you think Laura regrets not competing?
absolutely not. I don't think she does.
I don't think so either. Especially after we talked to Christoph. Like I feel like she's just vibing on her own, doing her thing. She's doing WFP. They're at the gym.
I also think that like she seems like someone who is pretty like sound in her decisions, and like I feel this way, I'm gonna stick with it. That's the vibe I've gotten from her and Christoph, and like there's also plenty of opportunity for her to compete outside of this. And I think whether people want to admit it or not, like we are moving to a place where the games may not be the only thing people want to compete in. While it may still be the pinnacle for a lot of athletes and a lot of people, there's a lot of competitions where you can compete against that caliber of athlete. So choices, right?
Yeah, I don't think she did. I thought to myself over the weekend, I was like, it is very interesting that like Vellner, Emma Lawson, Laura, Gabby, none of them ended up going to the games. But then I think I said it to you and said it out loud. And I was like, oh, well, if we're going to say boycotting, I'm not going to say that that's necessarily what it is, but I'm going to blanket it with that like, why would they go support? But I have FOMO all of the time. So I would be sitting at home being like, damn, everybody's at this one place. Like we feel this way about WFP. Like we're so excited to go because all of our friends are there hanging out. I know it's bigger than that, but I did find it interesting that none of them went. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I also think like obviously on a very smaller scale, and I can't pretend to understand like what they went through being an athlete, knowing Lazar, all of that. But like when like we talked about with Lauren last week, last week. Oh, it was Lauren last week, and the other one was 2 weeks ago.
I was like, that was not last week.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You're correct.
When I didn't do the open and she felt the same way, I wasn't like happy or excited about it. There was nostalgia there. There was like I was a little bit sad about it. And I'm sure that's like the way, like those, like look at Vellner, his entire career and life has revolved around CrossFit. Making that decision is probably not fun. And it's not because he's like, screw all of you. It's like he's trying to stand on some morals, and that's a choice. But I don't think anyone is like overjoyed to not be a part of it, you know?
Yeah. What I'm going to ask you this question. Kyle said, Laura didn't want to lose again to Tia again. Okay, let's hypothetically, a hypothetical question. Let's say Laura sits out the next 2 years. Tia makes it to 10 and retires at 10. And then Laura's relationship with CrossFit has been repaired and comes back. Do you think people will say it's because she didn't like Tia retired and now it's her time to try to win? You know, like, is it going to be one of those?
People are always going to say that. I think if you are a real competitor, you want to compete against the best. And I think this is such a silly narrative. Like, I don't think she's waiting Tia out. I think she has her own other reasons. And I think people will always say that, like always. I mean, it's the same idea of like Matt and Rich and like woulda, shoulda, coulda, whatever. Like, I think if you're the best, you want to compete. If you want to be the best, you want to compete against hard competition to prove it. I mean, she was very excited to compete at Rogue against Tia when Tia came back. I don't think she was like upset about, I don't know. I think it's a narrative people are always going to have, but I don't think it's true.
I mean, yeah, no matter what happens, they did it with Justin after Matt retired. Like, oh, well, he never would have won. And I think they did the same thing with Matt. When Matt Frazier was winning, they're like, well, you never would have beat Rich. It's like a never ending cycle every single time.
I want to pull up this comment that I starred. Do you think this year's programming was too safe as a counter to the tragic events of last year? I love the competition, the men's race to the final, but overall felt a little flat. I think from the people I've talked to, the general consensus was like, it was a little flat. Like that's what we're talking about. Like it ran smoothly. There were some good races. I don't think there's a thing as too safe. I think that's like a bad way of putting it. And I would 100% err on the side of being safe after what had happened. I don't think safe is the word. Like, I think maybe it lacked some creativity that could have still been very safe. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I don't think they had a choice. Like, I think they had to be safe. Me and Mesa do differ when it comes to like what that programming kind of looks like. Like, easy for me to say because I'm never going to be a games athlete, but like, I do like the really crazy stuff, like the really hard stuff, like flirting on that line. Do I think that's the right answer? I don't know. They had no choice. They had to be safe this year. Otherwise, like we said earlier, they had to hit a home run. Otherwise, it was going to go very, like, everybody was just waiting for something to go wrong, no matter what that is. Somebody get injured.
Mhm.
I don't know, the arena to burn down, like
And I
something.
think like they could still hit a home run or do as well as they did and it not be enough. Like we don't know, right? Like people are upset. So like they had to do this because even this might not have been enough to turn everything around
Correct.
for some people.
Yeah.
And then I'm really sorry you feel that way because we're gonna have a lot of fun and we're gonna interview a lot of athletes and we're gonna see some fun competition and races.
The only reason why you didn't have fun in Indy is because you weren't friends with us yet. And now that we're all friends, you are going to have FOMO that you're not going to be in Mesa.
100%.
We'll send you a postcard.
Um, there was something else, but I lost my thought.
Will there be an outdoor event in Mesa?
I don't think so.
I have no idea. Don't know.
I think it's all indoor, from my understanding.
I would assume indoor, and I have, like I said, no idea, but just because it is so hot in Arizona, but I don't know. Anything can happen. We know nothing. We're just there for the vibes. Good vibes. What rate? I don't know what you're saying, PC. What about the sponsors? What do we think? Is it Velites?
Velites.
Velites?
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, I was really surprised they were doing the clothing at first and was like, this is not going to be great. I was very impressed overall. I thought their clothing was very swaggy. I think it was super cool. I am always pretty harsh on I thought GoBrook was the worst clothing of all time.
Horrible.
Like
Sorry.
what? It
Horrible.
was ugly. It was not, and like I do think aesthetics matter, right? Like you want the athletes to look cool, look good, feel good, perform good. I think as much as like I don't love Noble, they did have slick outfits a lot of the time. And I like things that looked good on camera. I think I was a fan of their color schemes, their fonts, their fit. The only thing I didn't like were the women's sports bras. They were like Bridgerton-esque, weird, way too low. I'm sure the men liked it. It looked like if I was going to compete in that, I would absolutely hate it. Like it looked uncomfortable. But I think that's just the cut was like maybe not made for CrossFit athletes. I don't know.
I liked them. I see what you're saying.
Hated
And
it.
multiple after you said that on the recap show, multiple people agreed with you. But I liked them. I think they definitely suited some people better than others. But overall I was a fan. Did they make apparel before? I'm assuming yes.
No, they did because when we were at Wadapalooza, there
Oh, you said
was
that. I remember we talked.
some shirts there, and I thought their stuff was like very cool color schemes. I also their hoodies looked really cool, and I think it was like Christine Cole on the demo team posted on her story saying like everything was such good quality, so comfortable, so soft. She did make a comment that the sports bras didn't fit well, but overall was very impressed with them. I do want to note, Velitas is a sponsor for the WFP also. So imagine that they could sponsor both, like, because it's a business and we can all just do business, but
So speaking of that, I watched the Not for Time podcast. They went live with John Woolley and Sean Woodland the other day, and they talked about like WFP being successful in sponsors and how they have Red Bull, which has a ton of money to just throw away, basically. and if CrossFit would be interested in also partnering with them. And they kind of alluded that maybe that would not be something beneficial to have Red Bull sponsor both. But it is interesting that we do have Velites. I can't say it correctly. I'm so sorry, you guys. Velites. I don't know. That they are sponsoring both. Interesting, but different though, because I think they're just the jump rope sponsor for WFP. I think, right?
No, grips.
Grips.
Yeah.
Okay, and not apparel. So I don't know. A little crossover, which might not be a bad thing.
Isn't because Adidas is apparel, correct?
Shoes.
Adidas is a sponsor. Yeah, I don't know.
PC, are you in the chat? I don't know. Do they have an apparel sponsor?
I mean, Adidas is a sponsor, but I don't know that they provide, like, they are not providing the athletes with like clothing that they have to wear. Like the athletes get to wear their own clothing there, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. That's all a blur. Overall, I think that was a win too. What about the broadcast? A lot of people were asking about the broadcast on PC and Brian's show yesterday. All the days are running together. What do we think since we were only watching the broadcast?
I heard a lot of complaints and I was kind of surprised because my initial thoughts on day one were like, wow, this is great. Like the broadcast is good. I always harsh. I think the commentators for the games are always a little bit cheesy, always have a lot of mess ups. I think the commentators were to par with how they've always been. I didn't think it was worse. I did think the video, the connection, the showing of athletes was pretty good. I don't know. I didn't really understand what people were complaining about. I thought overall it was very good, easy to watch. I'm also not someone who's like, damn, this is the worst thing ever all the time. People find everything wrong with the broadcast. I think it was done pretty well.
Yeah, and if I wouldn't have seen stuff on the internet, like other people posting about the wrong graphics being posted, or I had somebody text me during the pegboard event and was like, DB's blown up. You wouldn't even known that because they weren't showing her. They were, I don't know, showing whoever was in the lead, the two people. But I never would have noticed that I wasn't seeing the other part of the competition if I didn't have that information. So I feel like being a little bit closer and knowing those things, and then, seeing Hiller about that, I would be like, yeah, it was fine.
There was I think I remember maybe it was Syndicate last year. I had multiple athletes that I knew competing and I was like, damn, they didn't even show them. And then I noticed that. So if you have an athlete that you're specifically looking for, I'm sure it's frustrating. But again, what are they supposed to do? Zoom out and show the whole field? They're going to show the best race. They're going to show if they zoomed out and you saw everyone small, you would hate it too. I get it. And there's a lot of comments on Instagram about how DB's never on the broadcast. And she said that she pissed someone off and that's why they don't show her. But I honestly thought she was on there a good amount.
Well, and she also wasn't really doing anything cool to show, not in a bad way, but
and in the event she was on camera. When she was racing Tia, she was on camera the whole time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Unless again you're battling Tia for that first or second place, they're probably not going to show you unless you're doing something horrible. And then they, I guess, sometimes
also
show you that
not be shown then. But yeah, I thought overall the broadcast was really good from a quality standpoint and cameras. I guess I thought that it showed what we needed to see. I didn't at any point during the entire weekend think damn, I missed something watching. I was just excited.
Yeah, I think it was fine. And I was watching it with one of my friends, and we were talking about the first event, and she was like, oh, well, they only showed Ricky and Jeff on the run. It's what do you expect them to do? They're running a 2-mile loop, or what I think it was a 2-mile loop. They can't have 60 of the athletes on the same stream. It's just impossible when they're meters apart, on
a path. They're, yeah.
Yeah. And they had a person on a bike, I think, and then I saw another cameraman. I don't know if he was with CrossFit or if he was just like a content creator, but like running alongside of them. So like you can only do so much in those events. And even then, like I don't need to see Danielle Brandon in 27th place running. I'll see her at the finish line, like that. I don't know. It just, I think they did the best that they could. I don't know what else they could have done for that.
I agree. And I did think that event was like a really pretty setting. I thought it was cool that they put like the rowers next to the water. I thought the run was like a very pretty run, scenic wise. Like I thought that was cool.
Yep.
I liked that event. I think that it was so nasty. Like that's probably gotta hurt so bad. I was extremely impressed with the paces the men ran. I knew it was gonna be fast. I didn't know it was gonna be that fast. I expected a mid 6 mile pace for them to be running the top guys sub 6 miles for 6 miles with 3K row thrown in, and to speed up and have a kick was very like I feel like I'm usually not shocked by how fit these people are. Like you're like, oh, okay. There's been a few events, and that was one of them where I was like, wow, they're so fit. In Rogue 2 years ago, when they did that like last year or 2 years ago, that like ruck run, and they had like 80 or 100 pounds on them, and they were still running like 7-minute miles. And I was like, this is the craziest thing. It was kind of that feeling.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Jeff ran like a 5 something pace last year. Like he was zooming last year. So I expected him to obviously go fast. And I don't remember even what the event was. 6 miles.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
but
remember.
this is a much longer run.
Correct. No, I get that. But I like expected them to go pretty fast. This actually, I want to pull this. Jeff passing Roman was a moment. I would have been so annoyed if we missed that. I thought that this event was going to be boring, and it was actually super fun. The second that Roman was in the lead until they got to the turnaround point, and then all of a sudden the camera like panned out and you saw Jeff right behind him, I was like, holy shit.
We were texting. We were both watching it live, and Kate's like, there's no way. And I was like, he's totally going to do it. Jeff will chase him down. And you're like, there's no way. And then when you did the turnaround, I texted you in all caps, like, I told you he's coming.
That was super exciting. I did not expect that from a running event. So I'll give them that.
Again, that's like what I feel like overall the programming wasn't super phenomenal, but there was some really good races.
Yeah.
Races
were great.
Yes. And I think that's also maybe a testament to like the field right now.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of the field, we'll talk podium or just field in general, hot or not?
I think hot. I think it'll get hotter when Tia retires, to be honest, because the races will be even crazier. Yep. And everyone was like, oh my God, you don't respect the champ. Tia is by far the most dominant, best CrossFit athlete. It is insane that we live in a time where she exists and competes, and no part of me is like, doesn't see that. I just think like how exciting it was watching Olivia jump all those spots, everything. Like I want that for all of the spots, the way it was with the men. I always think the women are more exciting to watch in general. And this year I was like, dang, the men's race got me.
It was good. I agree. I think the field, even you guys all know how we feel about Tia, great athlete, boring for the field. But even the races with her, I think were good. That handstand walk event with Lucy Campbell was right. It was Lucy. I was on the edge of my seat. So
even the like toe to bar crossover with DB too till the end where they were trading, like there was some, super cool.
Overall, I think the field was super hot. I'm gonna pull this. Jeff says something was off with Jeffrey Adler this year.
So he has talked about having a back injury this year, and he has not been able to lift heavy and not been able to train to his full capacity. And I think that showed in the back squat, because we know his back squat is heavier than that. Like he's a very strong athlete. And I think like back injuries affect literally every single movement you do. And if it's limiting capacity in some way, like it might even be better by the time you hit the games, but you just haven't been able to train a certain way. And that shows. And I think like, again, it's the fittest, but it's also who can stay the healthiest and be the fittest. And I think that showed.
I think I was talking to somebody else and I said I had recency bias from WFP, and Jeff's finished in that last event that bumped him from 1st to 4th overall. but everybody had him winning or like top 3. I think we both picked him second, I think. And yeah, just all weekend he just kind of.
I was sad. I expected bigger things from Austin. He just still did good. He did good. I'm not like he didn't do bad. He did what 5th, but I did think he was going to be a little more dominant. And there was especially some events, like the last event, I thought he would annihilate that because that was just like pure grit CrossFit, what he's good at. And it just wasn't there. But also like he is like young for the game. Like this is only his second games. He hasn't competed at a lot of like longer, higher volume competitions. And I think he went from 10th to 5th in his second year. Like the trajectory is looking good. I think he's just been doing like so amazing that we're like, yeah, but like there's, learn and just like I think the back squat jumps he made were a mistake and like he could have probably hit heavy. Like there's just execution things that you're gonna learn.
Yeah, I think we don't see a lot of other people, their second year at the games be so successful. So I think it's only up from him. But I do think people have really put him on a pedestal. I bought into it too. And it's just
I had him first on my predictions.
Yeah. It'll just take maybe a little bit of time
Longer,
for him to go. Ed says Jason's a weak champ. Just me?
I disagree with that. But I know people are going to feel that way because I think like we've seen, I mean, there's been people since Matt, obviously, but we've seen champs like Matt and Rich that are, I don't know why champs in quotations. They're not in quotations. They are champs. That are just like live, breathe, CrossFit. They can't do anything else. And I think that works for them and it doesn't have to work for everyone else. And I think like Justin said it, like I stopped putting so much pressure, everything. And I feel like we saw a much better Justin this year than we've seen. And I think some people thrive in those environments and some don't. Like different athletes need different things. And if you're a coach in any capacity, you know that even if you coach group class, you're going to coach different people different ways. So I think people are like, the whole Hiller thing saying Justin did bad because he was playing video games with Ellie or whatever. Like, I think people are going to say that. I don't think so. Like, I think he was consistent and did it. And he's also kind of been on that trajectory for a while to be in podium contention.
Yeah, I think we talked about, Jeff, Jason, Dallin, maybe Austin were the 4 people that were really like thrown into the hat for a podium position. I don't think he's one of those people that they're going to be like, but was he really the fittest? Like we talked James Sprague last year, like, but was he really the fittest? Like, I think he was the fittest in the field.
Yeah.
And I think he's deserving of it. It wasn't somebody that was out of nowhere that no one was expecting, and all the events just fell into line with things that he was really good at. And I do think it's interesting because Matt lived such like I say a calculated life. Like he did everything so he could be the champ. And Jason is on social media. He's like shooting the shit with people. He's living his life a little bit. And the fact that he's able to be the fittest on earth in 2025 and kind of have a life, I really admire that. I think that's cooler. Clip me.
Yeah. And I think also like, again, what works like for you works for you. I think Coach L is one of the best coaches in the game. That might be a hot take, even though it's not my hot take. I think I've always thought he's a very good coach and has like very cool relationships, and like it's the way they coach in general, I really like. But to be honest, didn't think Jason would beat Dallin. I thought it was more Dallin's time than Jason's time, but I was impressed. I wasn't shocked at any point because he is so fit and it makes sense, but I think he executed and he clawed his way up from the things he didn't execute, and he was like an athlete the whole time. I don't know. I was impressed.
I did see somebody say this, like, where Dallin fell this year, like this is his Matt Frazier year when Matt got second. and he was like, I'm coming back with a vengeance the following year. And then
But-
he was just like a terror for the next 5 years. Somebody, I don't remember who said that and what comment section, but somebody did say like this was his Matt Frazier year, and next year.
I thought last year might have been because him and James grew up together, but I think last year obviously was convoluted with a lot of emotions and stuff. So it's hard. But like, yeah, I'm also James beating him and then Jason beating him, and he is maybe like maybe it's just me, but from the outside looking in, if you stood those three, I might just say like before this weekend that Dallin's the fittest of them.
I had him
Or
winning.
like the best competitor, consistent. I don't know, like doesn't really have a ton of holes. Because like I think that he's not a great runner, sure, but like James' top end strength is an issue. Jason has had I don't really know. But yeah, I would have put Dallin being the top brute guy, and he just wasn't.
Yeah, I am excited to see what happens next year with them. Like if they keep the intensity, we assume that they will. I don't know if anything can happen. People can leave camps, people can switch coaches. Get injured. There's a lot that can happen. But two, I'll be interested to see because all of them do WFP. Did Jason do WFP?
Yeah, he podiumed.
You're right. You're right. Guys, I can't keep up. There's so much to keep up with. I think it'll be interesting to see like what happens at WFP in a couple of weeks too, and if the podium looks similar to last year or if it looks similar to the games or whatever happens with that. So
we'll see. Yeah, I think this would like the fact that the Burt boys and then Justin, who's also like good friend, should light a fire, especially because I think a lot of people expected him to do it first, especially like I think growing up, he was a better athlete than James in the teens. So the other one I wanted to pull, not that one.
Do we think James is ever going to win again?
No, I don't think so. I think it's possible, but I don't think so. But I think this is really interesting. Like, yes, I think this might be accurate that the field has gotten so competitive that we could have a repeat champion, but it's not going to be ever by the margin that it was with Matt. I don't think not ever, but for like probably the next 5 years. I also think some of this was in the competition when Matt was there, but we now have athletes that are doing CrossFit from like age 5. Like that did not exist, right? Like the Olivia Kerstead of the world who have like she's 19 and doing CrossFit for 10 plus years. And like Matt had some of those, but now we have like these athletes that are coming up that it's going to be easier to make that transition from teen to elite. You're going to have people that are really strong, really young. I think we're seeing like people who at 20 have a lot of training age and a lot of like experience competing. And I think that's going to change the ability for someone to be extremely dominant. We will always have the freaks. You never know, but
yeah, I can see people winning multiple times, but I don't think in a row anymore. Like, I can see James winning last year, Jason winning this year, somebody winning next year, and then maybe James comes back and does it again. Like I can see repeat winners like that, but I don't, like PC said, I don't know if we'll ever see multiple year in a row.
I am not the biggest Ricky fan, but Kate is a very big Ricky fan. So I'll leave this to you.
I want to say yes so badly. I picked him to win. I went last year. I went back and looked at my predictions from last year. Really wanted him to win. I've been a fan of his since he came back. Such an underdog story. Love him. But he's also, when we talk about age, somebody else just brought up age in the chat as well. He's a lot older than most of the guys. And unfortunately, I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hang. He did way better than I thought he was going to do this year. Did not expect for him to podium. I hope that he does, but I also did not like his interview at the end.
Yeah, he kind of blamed
it was like sore loser interview. Like, I don't like that kind of attitude. I understand it sucks to get second, but
I think both him and James kind of had that energy. It was interesting.
Well, yeah, but you know how I feel about James.
I personally, not the biggest Ricky fan, but I think if he was going to win, this was his last chance. I think he will come back and try again, but I think this was like he's with Proven, things have aligned. He's been on the come up. He's healthy. He had some really good performances. I don't think that.
Pull that last comment.
This?
Okay. Grant was on a James Sprague train for all 3 days saying he was coming and he was going to win it all. And he did not. He didn't.
Before we go into hot takes, because I feel like we got to do hot takes and then figure out the workout thing. Is there any other comments, things you want to pull up?
We got all the time. We can go over an hour. If you guys like hanging out with us, I don't have anything to do. It is my birthday tomorrow, so I got stuff to do. I feel like we covered pretty much everything that we thought, unless somebody wants to know. Anything else?
I gotta pull it up. I'm not gonna make any comments, but it was funny. Okay, I'm gonna put that away.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I think that overall, I think that we need to, as far as CrossFit as a company and all of that, my like short comment is that this was potentially in the right direction. I think who buys CrossFit and what happens after that, and when that's all released and staffing and everything is going to play a big part in if it continues to like come up or go down or what. And I think we have to wait on that. I hear it's coming soon was what I've heard. But I think that's going to matter as well. Like the games mattered, and I think that's going to matter.
Yeah. And I mean, if we talk about then the potential buyers too, like if we haven't closed on a sale yet, like it had to go well. So like maybe that is why they played it really safe too. Obviously everything that happened last year, but with the sale, like we couldn't afford for anything to go wrong and that to fall through. So I think it was good. I really think it was good. I don't know if it's ever going to go to Dubai, but
it's not, but from Dubai. So I would,
but cool. I overall, I think it was good.
Same.
Yeah. Nothing like not overjoyed, but also not disappointed. So I think that's in a good place to be. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Do you want to do the workout first or the hot takes first?
We can do the hot takes. You can go first.
You actually don't know my hot take.
I don't know your hot take.
No, you go first.
Oh boy. Okay. My heart is fluttering a little bit.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. My hot take is that I think sometimes Hiller does just as much damage to the community as he does good. And I say that because obviously what he does with the athletes is great. Like his 48 hours or whatever it is it's called. Like that is the best. That is the best content that we have in CrossFit right now. Hands down. And we need more of that. I think it's amazing to spot like the athletes and really get like show them who they are. We need more of that. But the Lauren situation, and like I'm just going to use her as an example because it is the most recent. But he made that video about Lauren, put it on YouTube, put it on Instagram, and got a lot of people to say negative things. And the community is already so divided. I feel like those videos that he makes just nudges people further and further from coming together. And now like he's never going to come out. He'll probably do it now. He'll never come out and be like, I was wrong. Don't think these things about her. Like the picture of Lauren has already been painted and the damage has been done. And we don't need any more of that. And like for him later to post an Instagram story, which is up for 24 hours. And it's like, oops, she just misread her email. Like people aren't going to see that or they're going to remember the video. They're going to remember the video. They're going to remember like the fights in the Instagram comments. And I think that sucks. I think that he does do a lot of good, but sometimes the bad can outweigh the good. I'm not even reading the comments. So.
I am. It's very entertaining. For those of you saying he posted it, he did not post it as like going in and blatantly as he did the first half of it, where he said she was a liar, bully, all these things. I don't know how I feel about this hot take. So I agree with the whole, like, first of all, I agree with the content is phenomenal. I've told him this specifically to him, that like he makes the best videos. They're phenomenal. They're very impactful. I do think that I don't even want to just pin it on him, because I think it's something that we've discussed a lot of media does. And I don't want to seem like holier than thou. I'm sure I've done it or will do it at some point. There's boundaries that are hard to figure out where you draw the line, right? But I do think, what did Lauren say? Like, performance, not people. And I know people want to know about people, and we want to know about people, and we want to talk about people, but I think there's ways to go about it that are not so like detrimental to character. I think you can comment on things without being like a middle schooler, maybe is the right term. But I also think that's like, some of it is like, that's their brand and that's their MO. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. And I think,
but if you love something, like if we're all talking about save CrossFit and like do it for the community and do this and like that, I don't think is doing anything for the community, whether we say like the affiliate community or the sport community, whatever it is that we want to lump everything into. Like, and he does it without saying it. He's it's not like he outright says everybody needs to go hate this person and think the same thing, but like his narrative like nudges people that way. And then it's a heyday in the comments.
Big following that really take what he says very to heart. And I think maybe his following takes it more to heart than he even feels about it.
I think it's dangerous. Yeah. I mean, yes. Like, do I think he's a bad person? Absolutely not. And like, I also know it gets views and clicks, and that's somebody like.
I also think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Correct. But like, again, if we talk about like, I'm gonna say morals or like our values and things that are important to us, this is important, and I think that is not helping anybody come together.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are going to use the like woke PC, whatever, all of these, like, be politically like, we're so PC, we're so woke, we're so this. I will straight up say that I'm never going to be offended for being called any of those things, because to me that's not an offensive thing. I think that, like, as cliche as this might sound, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're willing to like push those boundaries to be funny or for clicks or whatever, then you're probably going to push those boundaries in a situation that could genuinely make someone feel hurt, uncomfortable, unwelcome. And I, like, as someone who owns a gym, you're a coach, like, a lot of our goal is to make people feel comfortable doing uncomfortable things and like walk into a gym no matter what stage of life you're in, no matter what. And like, my whole thing is like, why are we making the barrier to entry higher and making it scarier for people?
And like, there's a way that you can do it. And like, we have this conversation all the time. Like, I troll people. We just trolled Dents. I was like, we're best friends. That's the only reason why you didn't have fun. Like, there's a way. Oh, hello. There's a way to do it without like causing harm and damage.
Should I pull it up?
I don't even know what it says. Yeah.
Hiller is here. Again, I think like, you're right. Clickbait matters. If that's how you want to get the views, that's on you. And I think maybe it'll take longer or will never happen for people who don't do that to get the views. But we can also comment on what might get the views. And I hope you were listening to the part about the stuff we do like, because I think that exists. And I think
he's always here like, at the end, so I'm sure he's been here.
Yeah, and I think the more we talk about these things, the better. So
love the 48, and I like, I don't disagree with what he's saying. Like, his 48-hour videos wouldn't get the views or the reach that it does without the other ones, but like, that still doesn't make me feel good that we have to do something icky in order to do something icky for views. I don't know. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
I think
I don't love
if
it.
he did not do any of those videos anymore, I think his 48 hours would still be phenomenal. And maybe the CrossFit community would be a little bit nicer and we could all hold hands and sing together, because that's my goal. I can't wait to be clipped. Just let me know if I'm going to cry beforehand.
Yeah. We're definitely
okay, what's your hot take?
My hot take is that I don't think it was even remotely weird or odd that Will Morad was at the games, and I think that was taken so wildly out of context.
Stay
The
here,
whole,
Hiller.
yeah, the whole okay, one, he was a CrossFit Games athlete for many, many years. Two, he has many friends that are CrossFit Games athletes. He was a very close friend of Brooke. It's her last year. I also think the same way I love viewing elite competition, he probably loves viewing elite competition. I think it was so odd that people were like, Will's here, blah, 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 blah. Like, do people who go to the games or work at the CrossFit Games, they can't watch WFP because it's that they can't enjoy watching athletes compete? Like, it was just so odd that it was like the biggest deal ever. That like he wasn't hiding. He was like, yeah, I'm watching the games. Maybe y'all make it so deep into him, it's not that deep. He just owns
Okay.
me.
Okay, here's a question. Let's say Dave Castro went to WFP. The narrative would be Dave is such a good sport that he is coming to support WFP, something that has tried to shit on what he has created. I will die on this hill that you guys would be saying the complete opposite. Am I wrong? Anybody?
Apparently our takes are
Somebody
very
said bingo. I don't think if the roles were reversed, it would be the same narrative at all. So
okay, but like what is viewing the CrossFit Games have to do with integrity? He bought a ticket, he went and watched his friends compete, and then went back to his job. Like, why is that? He didn't hide it. He wasn't lying. Like, what does that have to do with integrity? He's just watching people, his friends compete. Like, I think it's like, I was thinking about this, and this is how I feel about some of these takes on WFP. When you go to a restaurant and you sit down and like, if the service is shitty or your table's not clean or something, you kind of already decided it's not going to be a good experience before you ever tasted the food, and you could have amazing food and you would still be like, it wasn't that great. I think people like had this idea about WFP. They didn't like how they came out, or they didn't like how they introduced, or they didn't like who was a part of it. And now it's like every little thing they do is they're going to find something to be mad about, even though it's really not that bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think it's like the opposite with CrossFit. Like, you go to a restaurant and the ambiance is amazing and the people are so nice. The food could be very average and you're like, this was amazing. And I think people are like just so ready. Like, well, spectating at the games is not a big deal. It actually kind of makes sense.
I don't know why any of us are the integrity police.
I also think spectating a sporting event in your industry is not crazy. Like, why is that a lack of integrity? What?
Yeah. Crazy. Who cares? We're spending so much energy on things that don't really matter. That's my
like, imagine we're like seeking out Will. I bet he's like, yeah, hey, I'm here. Cool. Like, and this whole, like, he's on his WFP vacation tour. Like, who cares what he does with his time and his money?
Let people live. Let me live my life. Let Will live his life. Let Dave live his life. Like, we're just so concerned. Who cares? It doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't watch his friends compete. I don't think that makes him some terrible human. He trained with Brooke for how many years? Like, could he just want to watch her last year?
It is crazy. And we already talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Like, it is so crazy to me that people spend so much energy. I feel the same. I mean, about politics too, but like that people get so emotional and riled up about things that aren't really, who cares? I don't know. I don't know. We spent a lot of time talking about WFP during the CrossFit Games week. So you guys are letting it steal the show.
Question of the day. Grant, is there either of those two workouts that you will go head to head with Kate? Number one is biking DT with 9 cal bike at the end of each round, or AMRAP 5 clean jerks at 135. You can do the same weight as her. She'll still beat you. Just saying. No, hell no. Okay. Should we I say we put a poll on Instagram and let it go for 24 hours. And whichever one comes out, you do that one. Deal?
Yeah, I don't care.
I'll put it on the Insta story tonight or tomorrow. Same here, Jeff. Same here. Same here.
Grant, me and you can still decide on one separately, and I will do it. But we have
I'm kind of sad no one
we have
wants
to
to go head to
compromise.
head with me, but whatever. It's
None
fine.
of that silly 1,000 burpee box jump over stuff. So I heard he can't clean 225 though, so maybe we can do a single 225 power clean just for one rep.
Burn.
All right, guys. Now I think that was it, right? Next week, I don't know what time we're gonna be on. We're gonna say 7 p.m. We might have some things in the works though. Next Thursday, as always, it was really fun. This was a fun one. I liked it. Enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, follow, tell me happy birthday tomorrow. Don't forget.
Comment happy birthday. Follow me and Kate. Follow in the box office. I'll be doing some birthday burpees for you tomorrow.
No, 27 birthday burpees. Okay. All right.
21. 13.